In these recent past few weeks, I've been talking a lot about the next generation of PC handhelds and how a lot of these companies are finally starting to show off and leaks are happening, and it's a very exciting time. But in that time, we haven't seen much from the major players. Outside of ASUS releasing the ROG Ally X, nothing really concrete for a genuine next generation handheld. Not a Legion Go 2, not a ROG Ally 2, not even a Z2 Extreme chip from AMD, which speculatively should be being announced at CES in January. So when I finally caught wind about the Legion Go S being leaked in full display, you can finally see what the thing's gonna look like, I was very excited. But after seeing what this device is meant to be, I'm a little disappointed. I hope that this leak is true, but not in the sense of that I genuinely will love this thing. It's just more, I think it'd be good for the industry, not necessarily good for everybody. Before I delve deeper into my thoughts and opinions about this, I'll quickly go over what we know so far. We now know it will have non-detachable controllers, the menu and view buttons move to the top right, it has a control nub instead of a traditional trackpad that like you can currently have on the Legion Go, moves both USB Type-C ports from one on top, one on bottom, to both being on top, which to me is probably really annoying, for me at least, and has front-facing speakers. That's a good change, and it removes the rear kickstand, mainly because it no longer has detachable controllers, which, in my opinion, was probably one of the main reasons why people bought the Legion Go. I'll throw up on screen now what this thing actually looks like, and it looks like your standard PC handheld. It is the thorough mainstreamification of the Legion Go. My biggest sort of reason for recommending the Legion Go to a lot of people is that it's the most unique. It is decidedly the most different and has the most variety of features and methods of playing that all these other PC handhelds just didn't have. And when it first came out, it was one of the first PC handhelds that wasn't the Steam Deck that had a trackpad on it. We also know some of what's going to be inside of this device in terms of what, GPU and processor this thing's going to be having in it. And it's going to be having the Z2G Rembrandt chip, which is a slightly weaker version of what we presume to be the Z2 Extreme chips, I think. This Z2G chip, Rembrandt, which is the architecture this thing is going to be using, has a Zen 3 Plus architecture, which makes its cores less powerful than what you find in the traditional Z1 Extreme, which it actually uses Zen 4 cores, a much newer architecture in comparison. With the fact that this device is going to be using this lower-end Zen 3 Plus chip, it leads most of us to believe that this device is going to overall be a more budget-oriented device. Using this particular APU should significantly decrease the costs of this device to manufacture, therefore making it cheaper for consumers to buy. Speculating this thing to be anywhere between around $500 to $600, which for a brand new device sounds pretty good. But for the sheer fact that this thing is going to be using an older, less powerful processor than the Z1 Extreme that we currently already have, it doesn't make a lot of sense, I feel like, for many people to buy it if this rumor is in fact true. Because you can currently buy a Z1 Extreme equipped ROG Ally. Granted, that version has a lot of problems with cooling and micro SD card failures. It's a whole thing. But I'd much rather take that risk and spend almost half as much. You can buy one of those old ROG Ally with the Z1 Extreme for about $350 to $400, and I would more than be happy to make the sacrifice in terms of overall reliability to have an overall much better experience. So while it's very exciting to see that Lenovo is making another device, I'm not too impressed, and I hope that a true Lenovo Legion Go 2 retains all the major features that made the original Legion Go so awesome. Because this Lenovo Legion Go S just sort of feels like a watered down original ROG Ally in terms of look, design, overall performance. It's gonna make more sense for some people to buy the original ROG Ally Z1 Non-Extreme, which I've made multiple videos discussing that device, and it's not the best, but It could certainly make a lot more sense than this device if you can pick it up for a much better price, and they might end up performing very similarly just due to the sheer fact of the weaker architecture found on this Legion Go S. This is a very interesting move for Lenovo to play after the Legion Go being generally considered a great device. I feel like these companies like Lenovo and Asus should really start taking some notes from companies like IA Neo and GPT, who have been in this industry way longer than they have. And even IA Neo has made attempts to making super affordable PC handhelds, and those generally don't do quite as well, just because you gotta make so many significant sacrifices. Then it becomes an overall very much just compromised experience, more optimized for emulation rather than dedicated PC gaming. That's what made the Steam Deck and ROG Ally so amazing and competitive in this space, is because at the time, most devices from Neo and GPT and many others were in excess of $1,000 or more. And these larger companies can make it so that they have some pretty decent margins at much lower prices. And seeing the move to make a much more affordable handheld, while initially might make a lot of sense, I don't see this necessarily being a particularly popular device when put up against many of its competition that may be, yes, significantly older at this point, but might pose a significantly greater value. I've said this before, but what I value most above all is performance at great sacrifice to things like battery life and other aspects of a device. The closest I can get to a high quality 1080p 60 experience on a portable handheld, that is as far as I'm wanting to go or realistically need in one of these portable handhelds. And we're getting so close to that idea, but these cheaper and more affordable devices, while really good, I don't see a great deal of value if they're stepping so far behind in terms of performance for devices that already exist and are already way cheaper. You can currently buy the Z1 Extreme ROG Ally for last chance Cyber Monday deals for about $489. That just makes way more sense to buy. It has way more unique features. It's detachable controllers, a much nicer screen presumably than what this Legion Go S is going to have, and it has a trackpad. It's going to be significantly more powerful. On top of that, it's currently going to be $100+ cheaper when this 2S eventually releases sometime next year. So to me, it just doesn't make a lot of financial sense. Might as well just somehow refine and find ways to simplify the manufacturing process for the current Legion Go than it is to make a cheaper, less powerful handheld. It's something you see with consoles. The original Nintendo Switch, that launch box style one, was not necessarily expensive or cheap to produce, but it was the first revision, and as the years gone on, the process became more efficient, and they were able to simplify things, remove things, change things out for cheaper parts, and then eventually we got the red box Switch, which had a slight change to the processor, which made it more efficient, gave yourself more battery life, and it overall was cheaper to produce. I don't see why a company like Lenovo couldn't just refine the manufacturing process to develop almost the same exact thing, just way cheaper to produce. This could be immense amounts of naivete on my part, but to me, the Legion Go is, if you have one today, that's all you realistically need for quite some time until a true next generation handheld comes out. These mid-stop refreshes for less performance but overall a cheaper device might make sense for some people, especially if your only way of obtaining these things or only way you're comfortable with is buying them from a store. I can definitely see a world where this might make sense, but for people who are gunning for the most bang for their buck, these cheaper devices I doubt were ever going to be something that they might consider, unless it was heavily discounted. But I would love to hear what you guys think. Is the Legion Go S something you actually might want? I would love to hear what you guys think about this down below, because I am really interested. I think this device is really cool, but might lack purpose in the greater PC handheld scene. So leave your comments down below. I'd be super interested to hear what you guys think. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. All of the social media coverage down below. And last but not least, have a wonderful day.